Thank you so much for your patience. Are we ready? My name is Angelica Salas. I'm with the organization CHIRLA, and I am an immigrant from Mexico. I arrived undocumented, became a legal permanent resident, and now I'm a naturalized U.S. citizen, and I am a voter. During this National Immigrant Integration Conference, we will hear from 3 candidates for the presidency of the United States of America. I am pleased to announce that this afternoon we will have as our guest former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Every presidential candidate was invited, without regard to their party affiliation, to educate us on their vision for a successful nation of immigrants. The National Partnership for New Americans is nonpartisan, and of course, we are not endorsing or supporting any candidate today. But we are a friendly and welcoming group, are we not? And we ask that we give the warmest and deepest respect to all the candidates that will be visiting us today and tomorrow at the Immigrant Integration Conference. I am the executive director of CHIRLA, an immigrant rights organization, because I believe in grassroots power. I am the member of the executive committee of the National Partnership for New Americans, which is the annual sponsor of the NIIC, because I believe in the New American Dreams platform, our immigrant vision for building a welcoming and a vibrant democracy. I'm the co-chair of FIRM because I work with 44 other immigrant rights organizations from across this country to win compassionate, just and humane immigration reform, and to stop the senseless destruction of families through cruel and senseless deportations. I am the president of the Movement of Immigrants in America because we need to build power for our immigrant communities. We understand that the fires of hate and fear directed at Mexicans, at Muslims, at refugees are burning across the United States of America. But with MPNA, with FIRM, and with MIA, we will extinguish those flames with more democracy, a full program of naturalization, voter registration, get out the vote, and most importantly, the love of our families. And we invite you to join us. And so, for what you've all been waiting for, to introduce our presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton, we have our best, our closest, our greatest champion in Congress. We know he's the congressman of the great district of Chicago, Illinois. But let me tell you something. He's the congressman of every immigrant family yearning to remain together and to be free from deportation. He is the congressman of every little U.S. citizen, boy and girls, who want their citizenship to be of value, to protect their families from deportation. He is the congressman of all the young immigrants who dream big dreams, and he is our representative here, of all of us here, who fight for justice. Wherever he goes, he's received with love, with an incredible welcome, because people know he's fighting for them. Equally, let's bring to present our candidate Hillary Clinton, Congressman Luis Vicente Gutierrez.
Thank you. Thank you. Sí. Gracias. Thank you so much. it's really wonderful to be in New York with so many friends. I've seen friends from Oregon and Washington, and I've seen friends really close from Milwaukee, from North and South Carolina, from Florida, Make the Road New York, which I've come so many times to work with here in New York City and in New York State. We prayed in Birmingham, Alabama together. I won't forget that moment as we organized. Y Angélica. Vamos a darle otro aplauso a esa campeona, nuestra Angélica, de Churla de Los Ángeles. And so it's so wonderful to be gathered here with all of you as we move forward. As we move forward to make sure there are 1 million new immigrant citizens ready to vote come November of 2016. One of I keep calling her the first lady because that's how I met her. When she's not in the house, we just call her Hillary. So when the Madam Secretary, we were just with her. Many of you know her from United We Dream, how she organized across this country to make DACA and DAPA possible. Lorella, and tomorrow she's going to become an American citizen. Let's give her a round of applause. Where is she? She's back there somewhere. We love you so much for the great passion and commitment and dedication that she brings to our families. So it's really good. Thank you so much, Madam Secretary, for putting her on your team. We are all grateful. She's a friend. She's been in many marches with us. She's been in many, and she's been arrested with us. She has a commitment to making sure that our community is respected, and I'm delighted that she's part of your campaign. Let me say this. So what brings us together is an empowerment of our community. And as we look at America, we ask ourselves, are we part of something greater and bigger? And I would suggest to everybody we are. Women fight every day to make sure that their reproductive rights are protected, defended in the United States of America. And they alone may not be able to do it. We have labor unions fighting for better wages and better living conditions for workers every day in this country, making America a better place. We need better working conditions. We need to spend more time with our families, with better wages and a better future for our men. And they're working. They can't do it all by themselves. Our friends in the LGBT community, they fight every day. And sometimes you get a clerk who says, you're not going to be married. And we fight for their right to have a marriage, be respected by the government of the United States. We have our Mother Earth, the environment, right? Los ambientalistas, ¿verdad? Tanto que nosotros queremos a nuestra madre tierra. But they alone many times cannot win the fight. And our brothers and sisters who have come under attack from the Muslim community. We tell them, all of us together, women fighting, labor unions fighting, immigrants fighting, Mexicans and Central Americans and Latinos fighting in this country, environmentalists fighting, our brothers in the gay and lesbian community fighting. Together we're fighting to make sure we have a richer, better America for everybody in this nation. And so our immigrant community is adding to that. And I just want to say, I am so delighted. I've had so many wonderful, memorable moments with you all across this country. And so before the First Lady, the former Secretary of State, my friend, and your friend comes, I wanted to say gracias. Gracias. Tenemos mucho por lo cual estar agradecidos. Hemos alcanzado mucho. We have accomplished much. DACA, there are over 800,000 young dreamers that can't be deported from the United States of America, and we have somebody who's going to protect them. We have somebody who's going to protect those 800,000 young men and women. President Obama signed an executive action We challenged him, and he responded as a friend and signed DACA and DAPA. Now, that's in the court. And let me just say something. Next June, we're going to win in the Supreme Court, and we're going to be ready to sign up those 4 million people. But I want somebody in the White House that are going to protect those gains as we sign those people up. 4 years ago, it was over 400,000 people being deported every year. It's down to 230,000 this year. That's 170,000 fewer people. Are there people who shouldn't be deported that still are? Absolutely. But we're working to get the numbers down, and I want to introduce to you somebody who's going to protect DAPA and expand it if she can. Protect DACA. Protect the gains we've made to keep families together and stop them from being destroyed by a broken immigration system. An immigration system that is old and antiquated, with a new immigration system that is humane and loving and caring and has as its fundamental basis keeping families together. That should be the principle that guides our immigration system. So we've made many gains. We're going to continue to make more. But you know what? We also need those people to protect and expand upon the gains we have made. And so with that, I am delighted to introduce to you somebody that I know when she becomes la presidenta de los Estados Unidos de América, is going to protect those gains. The First Lady and the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. It is such a pleasure to be here at this 2015 National Immigrant Integration Conference, and I love the idea of integration. We're going to be emphasizing that. We're going to do as much of it as we possibly can. I want to thank the National Partnership for New Americans and the New York Immigration Coalition for bringing us together, as well as everyone from the Fair Immigration Reform Movement. You couldn't have picked a better city for this meeting. We would not be New York without the generations of immigrants from everywhere: Asian, Pacific Islander, Latino, African, Caribbean, European, Middle Eastern, everyone who worked hard and raised families and put down roots in this country. And we should never forget that, and we should never let anyone forget that. This story needs to be told over and over again. I want to thank my friend and a great leader on so many issues, but particularly on this one, Luis Gutierrez. Few people have done as much as Luis to make sure that when it comes to America's policies on immigration, those policies reflect America's values. And he does it all. He organizes, strategizes, he preaches, teaches, inspires, cajoles, whatever it takes to keep this movement moving forward. And you know that he understands the fight to ensure that America's immigrants are treated with dignity is, as he just said, bound up with all the other fights to advance human dignity and human rights. The fight to defend workers' rights, to end poverty, reduce economic inequality, the fight for women's rights, LGBT rights, and human rights here and abroad. Because ultimately, all these struggles come down to the same fundamental question: whose humanity will we recognize? And Luis's answer is the right answer: everyone's. That's why he is a great congressman and a great leader, and why I'm so proud to have his support in this campaign to become President of the United States. And to all the lawyers and advocates and organizers and experts and immigrants who are here today, I want to thank you for what you do every day. You are at the front lines of one of the most complex and emotionally wrenching areas of American law and policy. I know that you advocate for children who are trying to navigate the system alone. I just said hello to a young man that I've seen before because he serves on the wait staff of a restaurant that I go to. And he came here alone at 15 and is making his way. You help people who are desperate for jobs to get work permits. You help parents get legal status so they can stay with their kids. And that means we keep families together instead of breaking them apart. You do your jobs expertly with great empathy and a deep commitment to justice. I don't think you get thanked nearly enough, so thank you. Thank you for doing what is so important and right in our country. And I want to thank somebody really special, which I'm sure is going to embarrass her, but I'll do it anyway. Lorella Praeli, who was born in Peru, came to the United States as a little girl for medical treatment. Eventually, she and her mother and sister moved here permanently. Her sister and her father are here with us today. Lorella excelled all the way through school. When it came time for college, she did what millions of high school students do every year: fill out that ridiculous, long, confusing FAFSA form, which I am going to eliminate when I am President of the United States. Honestly, you should be able to do that in a page or a half a page, so that's a promise. Now, it was when filling out the form, she found out she was undocumented. But she went to college anyway because her grades got her a full scholarship, and she decided she didn't want to live in fear or secrecy like so many undocumented immigrants feel they must do. She was convinced that this was her country and that she had something special to offer. So she came forward publicly as undocumented. She joined the United We Dream movement, advocating for all the young people brought here as children. And in part because of those dreamers like her, President Obama implemented DACA. He implemented DAPA. Now Lorella is the director of Latino outreach on my campaign. I am so lucky to have her. And listen to this, because this is really amazing. After this conference, she's heading down to Washington, where tomorrow at the National Archives, President Obama will swear her in as a citizen of the United States of America. Lorella's story, like so many other American stories, remind us of who we are as a people. We are a big-hearted country, and we should never forget that, and we shouldn't let anybody on the public stage say that we are mean-spirited, that we are going to build walls mentally and physically, that we're going to shut doors, and we're going to lose the talents and the contributions of millions of people who are here doing the best they can, building lives for themselves and their children. We are a country where people of all backgrounds, all nations of origin, all languages, all religions, all races can make a home. America was built by immigrants. And you know so well, our economy depends on immigrants. Our future will be always written in part by immigrants. And every single one of us, no matter how long ago our ancestors arrived in this land, whether they came by foot or boat or plane across the Pacific or the Atlantic or the Rio Grande. We all owe a debt of gratitude to the millions of immigrants who have helped to make America the greatest country in the world. You see, I disagree with those who say, make America great. We are great, and we're going to stay great, and we're going to get greater. You know, I wish all this could go without saying, but look, now more than ever, it needs to be said. We are hearing all kinds of anti-immigrant sentiment in the news right now. Candidates for president are calling immigrants drug runners and rapists. They promise, if elected, to round up and deport millions of people, build a mammoth wall, militarize the border, tear families apart. And after the terrorist shootings in San Bernardino, at a time when a lot of Americans are fearful about future attacks here at home, some candidates are even stoking those fears more and turning people against Muslim Americans, saying some really hateful, hurtful things. Meanwhile, our country's policies toward immigrants and also toward refugees and asylum seekers are being hotly debated. Now, this election, which was always going to have a big impact on our future, has now become even more consequential. So I'm here today to tell you where I stand, what I believe, and what I will fight for as president. And here's my starting point. Our immigration system is broken, and we need to keep families together. Millions of undocumented people are living and working and raising their families here. We could add hundreds of billions of dollars to our GDP by passing comprehensive immigration reform, which is why people across the political spectrum, from labor unions to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, supported the 2013 Senate bill. But ultimately, for me, this is far more than an economic issue. It's more than a political issue. At its heart, this is a family issue. If we say that we support families in this country, then that has to mean something. I want to put an end to families being torn apart, or hardworking, law-abiding parents having to prepare their kids for the day that mom or dad might be taken away. That's why I still passionately support comprehensive immigration reform legislation with a path to full and equal citizenship. If you work hard, if you love this country, if you contribute to it and want nothing more than to build a good future for yourselves and your children, we should give you a way to come forward and become a citizen. And you know what? The majority of Americans agree. They know it's the right thing to do. But not a single Republican candidate, not one, clearly and consistently supports a real path to citizenship. Now, you know, Senator Rubio actually helped write the 2013 immigration bill. Now he renounces it. They're all moving toward the extreme and away from the rest of America. Now, I know it was a blow to a lot of people in this room and across our country when that 2013 bill failed. We were so close. But we can't stay discouraged. We've got to keep pushing Congress to act, and we've got to keep raising the stakes so candidates and elected officials know there will be consequences if they do not support comprehensive immigration reform. But having said that, we also can't wait for the Congress. Too many families' futures hang in the balance. So you can count on me to defend President Obama's executive actions on DACA and DAPA when I am president. In fact, I'd go even further than that. There are even more undocumented people with deep ties and a history of service in their communities who deserve the chance to stay, like the parents of dreamers, and I will fight for them too. Before coming out here today, the congressman and I had coffee with the Suarez family, Osman and Jonalie and their daughters, Marcy, Claritza, and Angie. Osman and Jonalie are from Honduras. They made the journey to the States years ago to get away from rising violence and to give their daughters the chance at a better life. Now the Suarezes live on Long Island. They work hard. They're a close and loving family, and they're dealing with the harsh reality of a broken immigration system every day because their dad is undocumented. Their mom has temporary protected status. 2 daughters are protected by DACA, and 1 is a U.S. citizen. So in this family of 5, there are 4 different statuses. Think how complicated and frightening that must be. I have to tell you, I don't know. I was saying to Luis, I don't know how anyone could sit down and talk to the families and the young people I've talked to, including just now with the Suarezes, hear their story, see how much they love each other, how grateful they are for being here, and how much they love this country, and not think something's got to change. These are real, live human beings. But too often, our system fails to see or recognize that. We have got to do better for the Suarezes and for the millions of other families trying to lead decent lives in America just like the rest of us. Now, I know, of course, we're not only a nation of immigrants, we're a nation of laws too. And we do have to enforce our laws, but we should do it in a humane, targeted, and effective way. I agree with President Obama. We don't have endless resources, so we need to use them wisely. That means prioritize who to deport. Dangerous criminals? Yes. Dreamers and their families? No. There are people in immigration detention right now who are on a hunger strike. We need to be focused on detention conditions. And as president, I'll close private immigration detention centers. This is a critical government responsibility, and we should not be outsourcing it to anyone else. I'll also end family detention. We have good alternatives, and we should use them. And I'll work to ensure that every single refugee who seeks asylum in the United States has a fair chance to tell his or her story. That is the least we can offer people fleeing persecution and devastation. And finally, we've got to do more to help people who are eligible for citizenship take that last step. There are millions of people in America who could be naturalized, but for one reason or another, they're not. So let's help more of our neighbors claim their rights. It's so powerful, so precious to be a citizen of the United States. To be able to vote in our elections, to have a voice in our future, and I want to take down the barriers that are holding people back. So here's a few things I will do. I will work to expand fee waivers so more people seeking naturalization can get a break on the costs. I will increase access to language programs to help people boost their English proficiency. I will enhance outreach and education so more people know their options and are engaged in the process. I was committed to these issues as a senator from New York, and I will be as president. I don't want anyone who could be a citizen to miss out on that opportunity. There's something I say a lot on the campaign trail. When somebody tells you what they want to do, believe them. People running for president are telling America what they want to do, and by telling them that, they are telling us who they are. They are promising to enact harsher laws. They're telling us how they see immigrants as threats and criminals. They're sharing their vision for our country that would drag us backwards. Well, I have a different vision. I believe in an America where everyone is treated with dignity, no matter who you are or where you come from. And where undocumented children who have been here their whole lives and feel like Americans are treated like Americans, and where families are not ripped apart but are treated humanely and respectfully, I believe in an America that is strong, secure, and true to our values. And I know that is possible. And as president, I will work with you. I want to be your partner. So thank you for what you are doing, but even more than that, thank you for what we will do together. Thank you all very much.
I'm happy I didn't even get to read it. That was fabulous. As Puerto Ricans, you know we hug.
Hey, you know what? Namiri told me that right now they're making the decision. Do we know yet what's happening?
No, but we're good. We're in
Okay,
good shape.
good.
We are in
Thank
good
you,
shape.
my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's give Secretary of State Hillary Clinton another round of applause. Let's thank Congressman Luis Gutierrez. Let's thank the Suarez family. Let's thank all of you in New York who made this incredible conference happen. So tomorrow we're going to have Governor Martin O'Malley. We're going to have also we're going to have Bernie Sanders, even it's kind of like via Skype. But you know what? This election is not about the candidates. This election is about us. It's about our families. It's about our hopes. It's about a better life and a stronger nation. We will become citizens. Are we going to become citizens? Are we going to register to vote? Are we going to vote? And we're going to vote for immigration reform. We're going to vote to keep families together. And we're going to vote to keep America being a great nation made of immigrants. Thank you very much. And once again, thank you for all your patience and for making this a great conference. Thank you.